Okay, welcome. We've already talked about what slope is. Now we're going to talk about the different ways to find slope. Uh, there are really three, or if you wanted to argue, four different ways or situations where we can find slope. Two of them are very similar, so I classify them under the same heading. The first is if we have 2 points. We make use of what's called the slope formula. We're actually going to look at an example of that in just a moment. The second way is when we have an equation, we can take that equation and convert it into a format called slope-intercept form, where we would then be able to figure out the slope of the line. And the third way is in relationship to parallel and perpendicular lines, how a line is related to a line it's parallel to, and how it's related to a line it's perpendicular to in terms of its slope. In this video, though, we're going to focus on number 1, and that's using the slope formula. The slope formula, you may recall, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or in other words, the difference of the y values over that corresponding difference of the x values. Now, this formula is fairly straightforward to use as long as you keep a couple of things straight. For instance, we can say, hey, find the slope of the line that goes to the point 2, negative 1, and the point negative 5, 8. Just ignore that little bloop there. Okay, so we begin by using our formula. Now, the y2 and the y1 and the x2 and x1, those are to differentiate between your x values at each of the points. And the important thing to get from that is that you just have to do it in the same order in both the top and bottom. So if I did, for example, y2, as taking my second point as y2, that would be 8 minus the negative 1. Then when I come to the bottom, I must use the same order. So since I took from the second point first, I have to do that again. And so I take the negative 5, it'll be minus 2, and then we simplify. 8 minus the negative 1, now you just have to be careful with the arithmetic. 8 minus the negative 1 would be 8 plus 1 would be 9. Negative 5 minus 2 would be negative 5 plus negative 2 would be negative 7. Now it actually doesn't matter. So once you do that, you'd simplify to negative 9/7. Now it actually does not matter which point you picked first. So here I've written it down using the first point first. Negative 1 minus 8 over 2 minus a negative 5. Negative 1 minus 8 would be negative 1 plus a negative 8 would be negative 9. 2 minus a negative 5 would be 2 plus 5 would be a positive 7. So we still get an answer of negative 9/7. And so as long as you're consistent with the order you do it in the top and the bottom, and you're careful with that arithmetic, it's really easy to make mistakes with some of these side numbers, then you're going to get the same answer both ways for the slope. Okay, in our upcoming videos, we'll look at the other two approaches to finding the slope of a line. Until then.